This chair is very creaky, so bear with me. No, I was wanting to have the light not glaring on the glasses, but it's not really working. Maybe if I spend the whole podcast like this. No, not like that's very much open window light. So I've pulled the curtains. See if it would help with the lighting. Kind of if I angle this way. It's kind of not helpful. But if I go like that, then all you see is the reflection. Want to hear about it? I'm just gonna work away and we'll see how we go. Hi everybody, welcome back to Laaleebee Knits. My name is Natalie. I'm a knitter based in Belfast in Northern Ireland, and I sporadically share my knitting projects here with you guys on YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hello, welcome in. It's been a little while since I've updated you, so I have a lot to share. Last episode was a little bit emotional. Thank you so much for all your lovely messages about my little Henry passing. I really appreciate the messages that you all sent me, and Maisie and Margot are definitely keeping us busy looking after them too, so I'll do a little pup update at the end. But I've got so much to share. So I think the last time I recorded was really at the start of the year, so got lots of things to share with you. A couple of finished objects, not as many as I would like. Been in a wee bit of a knitting slump, to be honest, but what's been going on since the last time I updated you? So went on a little knitting retreat with my little knitting group that I have now. It's a couple of girls that I used to work with in my first big girl job. We all went to a wee Airbnb that we rented on the other side of the country, which isn't very far away because Northern Ireland is small, but it was lovely. It was really beautiful weather, really cold and crisp, but not rainy. Well, a little bit, but perfect knitting weather. We just got lots of food in, lots of wine in, and we just caught up with everybody. One of the things that I love doing then is we bring yarn from our stash that we know we're not going to get to, but that somebody else might like to use. So I went through my whole yarn stash and brought a big bag for the girls to dip into. I think the puppies are going to bomb in at some point, so if they do, that'll be fine. But yeah, we brought yarn, did a big yarn swap. I definitely gave a lot out of my stash. I had a little stash kind of total up at the end of the year, so I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, oh, I'm definitely stashing down in 2025. I was not. I think part of it is that I just didn't knit as much in 2025 as I did the previous years. A big part of that is my job change. I went from being in academia and being primarily working from home, primarily reading a lot, writing a lot, but a lot of the work I did, I had so much to read through. A huge part of it was reading through academic articles and old texts and whatever, and so a lot of that I could do while knitting. And also it wasn't stressful. It wasn't high stakes. It wasn't a pressurized environment to work in. It had its own challenges, and there were there was an undercurrent of pressure, but it wasn't day-to-day pressure. Whereas the job I'm in now, which is project management in a software startup, is pressure every day. It's pretty high pressure. It's very social, I guess. I'm an introvert, so academia suited me down to the ground because I didn't have to speak to people very often. This job, I'm managing developer teams and speaking to people all day, every day, and speaking with clients and other stakeholders, and it's just a lot of communication and a lot of fast-paced work that means I don't have as much brain space. I don't have the same brain space for knitting that I did when I was doing academia. So big life change, and I saw that in how I've been using my stash. So my stash was pretty huge, to be honest, at the end of the year, much bigger than I was expecting. So I am making a conscious effort to knit from my stash this year. Part of that was that I have been enjoying getting clubs in as well. So I usually subscribe to the Beehive Yarns clubs, and I do have one this year, but it's a smaller amount coming in. And I'm making the project every month as I go. So I have that to show you. But getting a monthly club every month for the past 2 years has obviously added substantially to my stash, and I have not knit nearly as much from those as I should have. So all that to say, definitely a bigger focus on knitting from my stash this year. I would like to see that number drop substantially, but you know what it's like, sometimes you just see something beautiful online and you have to have it. So we'll see. I've been making pretty good progress at the moment. Most of the items here I haven't bought the yarn for in 2026. In fact, I don't think I've made any, apart from my club, I don't think I've bought any yarn this year. It's the 1st of March, so 2 months, pretty good. I did have a little moment of, oh, I just want to buy yarn the other day. So I was looking online, and I think everyone's gearing up for festivals, especially in England, from my usual places. So there wasn't as much online as I wanted, and I couldn't find the one thing that I wanted. And then lo and behold, I had it in my stash and I cast it on. So I'll show you that too. The chair is going to creak. I sit in it for work. It's so creaky. It's crazy. So if there's a weird noise going all the way through, that's what it is. I was very prepared today because I've got my little commonplace notebook and I've written notes for my podcast. Well done me. If I can find my notes, let me find them. Okay, got them. Okay, let's get in with some finished objects. Right, this, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3. 3 finished objects in 2 months. Not very good in that way. Surely there's more. There's not. Okay, well, my first finished object is in this bag here. This is a scrappy jaunty scarf for Neil, my partner. So Neil wanted a big house shawl, he called it, because every time I'm knitting a shawl I wrap it around him and he's like, oh, I want one. So I had so much scrap yarn in my stash, and I just was trying to find it was around the time that I was taking stock of where I am stash wise, taking inventory, and thought, oh, I need to get, where am I going to use these? So this was the project. This is the Jaunty shawl by Andrea Mowry. I think this is her kind of take on like the Sophie shawl, or all those little kind of tiny basic shawl patterns that are very simple once you get into them. So this is Neil's. It's the back and the front. I suppose it doesn't really matter. So this is Neil's. All scrappy yarns from my stash. Most of them are these kind of things. These are all socks that I've made for him. Most of it's West Yorkshire Spinners leftovers, and then just some little scraps. Oh, I know the big project. Anyway, yes, these are for Neil. It's not blocked. I've just sewn the ends in. I finished it ages ago, but I didn't sew the ends in. I'll show you this side in case this side's the front. It's half fisherman's rib, I think, and I love knitting it. So this is the depth here, but I could really block that out and stretch that and did a nice deep shawl for him. So it has a an I-cord edge that you do as you go. Oh, there, just haven't snipped those. Small enough, my little ends. I'll snip those back. Little I-cord edge, fisherman's rib. Love it. Loved knitting it. It was so quick to knit up. Really easy to memorize. increased to 77 stitches at the deepest part, and then just started my decreases. Think I messed them up a little bit at some point because they're not quite the same, but you would never know, and I'll block it and it'll be fine. I knit this mostly finger and weight held double. You'll be able to see the marling that that gives, with some DK scraps in there too. Mostly the solid ones with the DK scraps. And he loves it. I'm not a scrappy project kind of girl. I don't like to wear things that don't look intentional. I don't know. Is that terrible to say? I'm not a scrappy. I don't like it when things look scrappy. To me, this looks scrappy. Neil loves it. He's a better man than I. So he loves it, and therefore, good for him because it's for him. So that is for my Neil. It's really soft and squishy, really easy, really nice pattern. She gives you a couple of kind of guides on if you knit this weight, this is the size it'll be, or if you knit this number of stitches, this is how it'll be. So pretty good instructions. Not like, it's very simple. I think there's maybe one page. It's a 4-page PDF, but I think there's only one page really of instructions, but it's basically like her simplest scarf. But love that. Need to block that today for him because he's been asking for it. So that's Neil's scarf. As I said, knit out of whatever scraps I had in my stash, mostly West Yorkshire Spinners socks yarns, because I was always left with maybe 10 or 15 grams after I'd knit a full pair. So that was the Jaunty by Andrea Mowry. Next one is in a little Christmas bag that I made with some Liberty fabric. This is a Sophie scarf. Now I've knit a couple. I knit a wee tiny red one, you might remember. I wanted a big one. So I'll start with the wool first of all. This is Ashtonell alpacas. So we actually met the alpacas. We went to Spinning Yarns in September at the Courtyard Theatre, and we met the alpacas. This is 70% alpaca, 30% silk, DK, 100 grams, in the colour Silken Plum. So I didn't use all of my yarn. In fact, where's my other? I started a yarn journal in here. This is my Paper Republic, which I love. I've got a yarn journal and my reading journal in here too. But my yarn journal, I did put the weight of how much I used there. Let me check it quickly. I had 2 skeins and I used, let's find it, alpaca. I should have really looked this up first. It's going to be very boring content when I find this. How much did I use? Oh my, there it is. I had 22 grams left of my alpaca, of my 2 skeins. So I think I have this in here. What am I going to do with that? I don't know. I'm hoping the light's okay because I do have the curtains closed to stop the glare on the glasses as much as possible. So this looks pretty true to colour on the camera. It is a Sophie scarf by Petite Knits, as I said. I wanted a nice long one. So it's pretty long. I don't know how long. Let me wrap it around. Of course, now we're in March. It's unlikely we'll need it as much. But I wanted a really nice long scarf for under my coat when I'm going to work. I think this is beautiful. I knit this in a 3.5mm needle. I changed my rate of increases. So I think I increased every 6th garter ridge and then decreased on the way down. And I increased it to 52 stitches at the widest point and then went back down again. So that's my little Sophie scarf. It's so beautiful. This yarn is so gorgeous, and I just thought it needs to be something around my neck, and it needs to be something nice and classic. So I loved this. You know, it's been a little bit of a hard time at home. Neil's health hasn't been too good. So as I say, work's also intense. So I needed something nice and plain and boring. Not boring, repetitive, meditative to knit. And so I knit this up. Didn't actually take that long. I finished it while I was at the retreat. So I think I finished about this in a day and a half on the decreases, so it went pretty quickly for me. It's a beautiful piece. It's actually something I think like my mum would buy in the shop. Which I can't say for all my knitting, all my scarves or shawls anyway, but it was nice to have a scarf kind of thing. I know that scarves tend to not be something that we knit quite so much. Okay, I paused my camera there and didn't know how to unpause it. I figured it out. So this is my giant croissant Sophie scarf. God, I've been, and this has been in my bag for about a month, waiting to show you, and just with my scheduling, I've missed most of the cozy days to use it, but I'm sure there'll be another couple of freezing cold days, so I will get my use out of that. So that is my Sophie scarf. And now I can get rid of this bag. That's good. What else is in here? Oh, another finished object. I knit Carol, my friend, some birthday socks. I don't have them with me because I gave them to her, but I used Spin and Blether, which was a new to me sock. It's a Northern Irish, a new to me sock, a new to me shop. It's a Northern Irish shop. I actually met the girl at another yarn show. What was it? The Knit and Stitch show that was in, where was it? Lisbon, the Expo Centre. I think in, was it November? I think it was November, or October maybe. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It was a self-striping and it was called 12 Days. So it was one of our Christmas ones, but the actual socks didn't look too Christmassy by the time I knit them up. You can get a good representation there of what they're like. And on my phone, so I can't show you them. I don't even know if I took a picture of them. But anyway, these were Carol's socks. This is how much I have left. Quite a decent amount left. I think there's maybe 30 grams here. So I don't really know what... Oh, maybe wee tiny pom-poms would be cute. Not sure what to do with those, but that was another finished object. A little pair of socks for Carol. That's all my finished objects. On to whips. Quite a few. I have a lot of whips that are in there that I just am not looking at right now. They're fine. But let me find my whips here. So I have a pair of socks for my mum on the needles, and I finished one last night so that I could show you it nicely. These are for Mother's Day for mum. Mum has wee tiny feet, so they don't actually fit on my sock book, or I've really stretched them here. These are the Will of the Wisp socks by this Handmade Life. I love her sock patterns. I bought like 3 more patterns. I have quite a few of hers. I love her patterns, her sock patterns. They are always a little bit of a texture moment, very straightforward, very nice, very easy to knit. Her photos are always beautiful. I really like her Instagram. She always looks cozy. So these are Will of the Wisp. I think these are a free pattern of hers. So the yarn I knit this in is a stash yarn. This is La Bien Aimée. I think it was La Belle Epoque. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then I don't know what these were. These were in my stash. Still nubbins that I've done heels, toes and cuffs on. So I've done this one. The other sock is knit. It just needs its heel on. So I shall put the heel on before Mother's Day. Oh, let me take it off this blocker now because that is stretching. There we go. I don't know what I've done with the other sock. I actually think I have a little bag of socks here that are just waiting for heels that will be presents. Creaky, creaky. Yeah, I found it. A bit close to the camera. in another little bag that I made myself. Look at this cute little, I kind of got the measurements a bit wrong here, but look, she's cute, isn't she? Yes, where's my other one? No, it's not in there. I've got a couple of socks in here they're just waiting for heels. So this one is a pair of Christmassy socks that I probably knit for myself. This is Stripy Cat Yarns in the colour by Holiday Cheer. It was a sock set, so it was a 50 gram of the stripes and then 20 grams of this little red mini. It's a pretty good colour representation actually. The pink is more prominent in real life, I think. It's pretty. This is the first time I tried Stripy Cat yarn and I love it. Love that. And then this was a little leftover of my West Yorkshire spinners in the Nutcracker. I've already knit a full length pair of socks out of this. And so this is just using up the leftovers. I just knit as long as I could to get 2 pairs of socks. They don't match colour. They're sisters, not twins. So I don't know. I think I'll gift them because I already have a pair in this and they match. So they're just waiting for heels too. So they'll be a little present for somebody around Christmas time. So I keep them in this bag so that whenever I just want to do a little kind of vanilla sock, don't necessarily want to keep it for me. I like having a little stash for people for presents. So those are my socks. I haven't found my mother's other sock yet. It is in here somewhere. Let me see. In this bag maybe? Oh yes, I did this intentionally and then completely forgot about it. Here's the other sock of Mum's. Cut in heel. That was one of the things that I did. So this is what it looks like whenever you're just knitting it flat. Again, this is the Will-o'-the-Wisp socks. When we were at our little retreat, I did a little, it's a bit grandiose to call it a workshop, but I taught the girls how to do cut-in afterthought heels and how to measure them for the sock size that you need and what not to do when you're cutting your knitting. So I think it went really successfully. So this is already attached, ready for the heel. For my heel, I do 5 rounds of just in the round knitting and then I start my decreases the same as my toe. So those are for Mammy. I'll get those finished this week and get them wrapped up. She doesn't know she's getting them. I hope she likes them because she's not really a green person. There's a little tiny bit of green in here, but maybe not enough to throw her off it. So that's my mum's socks. Bit of a gamble on that one. And then, so like I mentioned, I had a little moment of, oh, I just want to buy yarn. I just want to buy sock yarn so I can cast on a nice pair of socks. I don't really want it to have any purpose. I just want to buy it. Which goes against every rule I've set for myself this year in using my stash. But I just, you know, when you've just had a hard week and you're like, I want to shop. Well, I couldn't settle on anything, which should have been a good sign that this isn't actually what you need, Natalie. You just are trying to fix other things. But of course, I've done that before and have bought sock sets and random skeins of yarn and put them in stash and not used them. So I went to my stash and lo and behold, I had this beautiful sock set that I bought last year that I didn't knit. This is, where's my tag for this? Because I definitely just skinned it up. Ah, this is Pixie yarn. I think I showed this recently because I just found it in my podcast bag. It's a 50 gram, 20 gram sock set. There's Pixie yarn. They're one of my favorites. And this one is called Mam. Mam? Did I tell the story about Mam? You might have to go back. So anyway, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is the most beautiful color. It is absolutely my favorite kind of color. So this is our 50 gram and our little mini that came with it. This is me in a skein. I love this color. And so I cast on, I wanted something textured. I also wanted to do something I hadn't knit before. And so I went to this Handmade Life on Ravelry and found this sock, which is called the Woodnote socks. Look at this pretty texture. So I've made some modifications to the pattern. The pattern itself is a shorty sock. So you basically start your heel here. I knit a couple of inches because the trainers I have at the minute are New Balances and they're high up on my ankle and they cut the ankles off me. So I thought a couple of inches would mean I could wear these with my trainers and not get bloody ankles. That's good. But look at the beautiful texture. I slightly modified the cuff because the cuff in the pattern is like a folded one. I wanted to do ribbing, but also wanted it to follow this line of slip stitches. So I modified that so that it would line up. And I did the same for the heel. Just made those line up as well. Then I did a little heel turn. I like the square one that Tracy Miller does in her sock pattern. So I took this heel turn from the Coffee Talk socks. And now I'm ready to just continue my gusset and my foot. But beautiful, beautiful yarn. And I think this pattern is really nice for variegated skeins of yarn because you really get to see those little blips of colour highlighted. So loving this. It takes a wee bit of concentration. I've learned the pattern, pretty easy to memorize, but I have to look what I'm doing to see which row I'm on to do it. So it's not mindless, but I like that. I like a little bit of texture. And I have a couple of mindless things on the needles. So that's perfect for me. It's exactly what I wanted in another little bag that I made last year or the year before. What else to say about these? I knit all my socks on 2.25mm needles, circular needles. My favourites are Chargoos. Done. Now, is that all the socks on my needles? Yes. Well, no, there's socks. They're put away for now because I'm not looking at this. Next thing to tell you about, I have three big projects. Yeah, I just forgot about that one. Okay, so I've got 2 shawls and a new sweater cast on. I'll go with my sweater cast on. So I have not knit a sweater and I don't know how long. The brain's not been braining, but I had to cast this on. I've been waiting. I wanted to cast this on. I've been looking for patterns, looking, cannot find anything that I want. I've bought, so I'll show you the yarn first. As you know, I had 5 of these skeins. These are Beauregard by Birdstreet Yarn. You can tell I'm really on this purple kick. Superwash Merino 7525, 100 gram skeins. I got 5 of them. So I knew I wanted to do a sweater in it. I could not settle on a textured sweater. I don't know, I just couldn't settle on one. And then I thought, well, I do colour work, and then I've knit quite a few colour work sweaters. The last few sweaters I've knit have been colour work, so I wanted to move away from that. The brain was not braining, and I just thought, just do something that you know you like to wear, you know you like the fit of it, you've knit it before. And so I cast on a Cosy Classic Raglan Light. And this is a pattern by Jessie My Designs. I've knit it before a couple of times. I've knit 2 Cosy Classic Lights, one for me and one for my granny. And then I knit the DK version twice as well. So I've knit it quite a few times. It's a beautiful, really well written basic pattern, like classic, so much instruction. If you want to knit your first sweater, go for that. I love it. I love it. So here is my, it should have got my little no, I was prepared for all the other things. I didn't prepare for this one. I should have got my little stretchy thing so I could stretch this out and show you. I finished the first layer of Raglan increases here we go. I haven't tried it on, so I've knit the colour a little bit longer than usual, so hopefully I like that. So there's my collar. I did twisted rib. I've gone down to my first set of Raglan increases, and then there's another set that's spaced slightly differently. And I've also done this little piece of texture down the sleeves on either side, just for something different. A little bit of texture down the sleeve. So I think it's cute. We'll see how we go. Yeah, look at this color. It's gorgeous. And I want it for spring, so I need to get a move on. This, what can I say about it? I'm mixing 2 sizes. So the 2 sizes I'm mixing, usually, basically what I did was I measured here, which is just above my bust, just under my arms. I measured this measurement and then my lower measurement, and my lower measurement is bigger than this measurement. But I don't want the overall sweater to feel too big. So if I knit the size that I need for my lower half of my body, it will be big here, and the sweater will look like it won't fit around my shoulders because it'll be too baggy here and just normal on my lower half. So what I've done is I've cast on the size that fits here, and then I'll split for sleeves, go across the bust, and then increase to the stitches that I need for my body. And the good thing about top down is that I can try that on as I go. So it'll probably turn out a little bit A-line, which is fine for me. I think as long as it fits and I like the fit, I think it'll be fine. So I'm in between sizes, but I think that'll be a nice way to make sure that it fits me in the way I like a sweater. I want it to look like it fits, not that I've just knit too big a size. So that's my sweater. This is the little provisional cast on that I did. I'll pick that out, although I do love the colour contrast with that. I think it's very cute. So this is my Beauregard sweater. This is still only the first skein. Not sure if I got left of that. It's quite a lot of knitting. I think there's maybe 40 grams here left. So yeah, love it. And it's just kind of steady, easy going. I was doing the Raglans and then I was like, oh, I don't need to look at the pattern to do this anymore. And I'm like, of course not, Natalie, you've knit 5 of them. Anyway, this is living in my Hohi and Co bucket, which I love. Love, 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 love. So that is my sweater pattern. Is there anything else I need to say about that? What's the needle size I'm using for that? I think I'm using the size that's in the pattern. Maybe, I don't know. I'll update my Ravelry with the needle sizes. But the needle size I use doesn't really matter for you. Just your gauge might be different to mine. So that's my sweater. 2 more projects. Let me get my project bags. Okay. This one you'll be surprised at. This, did I even tell you about this? Did I tell? I must have talked about this at some point. Let me move this out of the way. So I've got some room here. Okay. This is my Go Dynamo sweater. No, shawl from Steven West. So I've made some decent progress on this, I have to say. What is my needle doing? Okay, sorry, that can come out, can't it? Okay, so just loose needle everywhere. This is my Go Dynamo shawl. I had purchased a yarn kit from, not a yarn, it was more a yarn set rather than a kit because it wasn't kitted for this shawl. It's so long. It's so long. So let me show you the shawl first and then I'll show you the yarn. The construction of this is so strange. You start with the widest bit, which is very hard to stick. This is my Go Dynamo shawl. Look at it. It's so long. It's such a weird construction. So you knit these little boobly boops and then join them together. And then you knit your bubbles. My bubbles do not look bubbly, but anyway. And then you do some brioche. And then you bind off this edge with some, oh, they look cute with some little triangles. So I'm assuming it's supposed to look wobbly. Mine does. And I don't mind it, actually. I don't mind the wobbles. So this is my Go Dynamo. It's a lot of knitting. It's a lot of knitting, which I don't know, like, of course I should have expected that from a Stephen West shawl. But so yeah, I'm at the stage now, let me just throw that over there, where I'm very slowly binding off and knitting these triangles. So I think you knit the triangles and then there's another little bit you can do here. And then I think as well, you pick up here and do like the top of the shawl. So there's quite a lot of knitting left to do in this. And I kind of set it down. What I need to do is do a triangle a night, at least, and see how far I get. I think I did these, I think I did at least 3 in one night. I'm a slow knitter when it comes to this. I don't know what it is. It's not racing round and round and round. It's fussy, fussy, fussy. Even though you're just turning, it's a wee bit fussier than just knitting round and round. So I feel like that's why my progress is slow. But maybe I just need to get into the rhythm of it. It's one of those ones I need to just take the time to sit and work away. It's originally written for 2 colours. I've got 4 in here because the yarn is from Beehive Yarns. It is her Wednesday. Oh, I could do with wrapping these up again. It's her Wednesday fade. Again, the purples. Gorgeous, gorgeous yarns. And each yarn has, each colour. Oh look, there's a little stitch marker I forgot about. Cute. Each colour has its own name. What am I doing this on? 3.5mm needle. That's good. Let me find the names for you. So the lightest is called Not Hugging Is Kind of Our Thing. Then next one is Unitas et Invicta. Unitas est Invicta. There goes my Latin, Natalie, when I studied it for years. Snap Twice is the next one, and the darkest one is My Favourite Unsolved Murder. So that is my Go Dynamo. It is slow going. I have this, and I also have the other one on the needles, the Fragmentation Shawl, with the other Beehive Yarns one. But I can only do one at a time. So we'll see. We'll see how we go with one of those. I might get a little bit bored, but I think I just need to have it out and work on it like every night, just to keep the pattern in my head and make it go by a bit faster. So that's living in a little bag that I made last year. It's kind of Eastery. It's kind of outgrowing the bag, to be honest, but that is my penultimate project. And then my final project is very exciting. This is my Beehive Yarn Club 2026 project. So I'll show you January because it's now March and we're waiting for February to come in the next couple of days. I signed up to the Almanac Yarn Club. It is Beth from Beehive Yarns' new club. This January colour is called Forest Snowdrops, and I got it in her Barbarella sock base, or yarn base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina sparkle. And I got 2 20-gram skeins. It's a lot smaller than usual. I usually get, last year I got 2 50-gram skeins. The year before that I got 1 100-gram skein, and the year before that I got 5 20-gram minis. So it's a lot less yarn than usual, and I think that's more manageable for me. And also, the only way I allowed myself to buy another club for the year is if I cast on a project with it and knit it as I go. You'll see in my little yarn acquisitions part, you'll see the tail end of my season spell. I haven't touched any of it, none of it yet. So I didn't want that to happen for the Almanac. So I cast on, and I had a little think about what I wanted to do the whole year. Something that had 2 contrast skeins every time, and so I decided to knit another What the Fade shawl under Mowry pattern. I've knit 2 before. I lost one. Actually, have I knit 3? Yeah, I've knit 3. I lost one. I gave one to my granny, and then I kept one. I'm still raging about the one I lost. Anyway, I'll show you January's colours. These were called Snowdrops, Forest Snowdrops, and that is January's colours. And here is the start of my What the Fade shawl. So it's a brioche mixed with garter stitch shawl. I'm gonna just see how I go. So there's a little bit of this where you knit it and then you fade in your yarns. You fade in your next colour, and then you knit a chunk and then you fade in your next colour, and you go like that until you start with your garter instead. I might just keep going with brioche. I'm not sure yet. There's a really nice brioche border on one of Andrea Mowry's shawls that I've knit. I think it's the Attune shawl. I can't remember. But it had a really beautiful brioche border at the end that I would quite like to do again. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Anyway, this is the start of it. I'm going to knit a couple more rounds in this before I get to the fading. There's plenty of yarn here. But I also don't want to be like, I'm not a huge fan of green. This green anyway. It's not my favourite. So I don't want it to be overwhelming, and also it's going to be the part that's like round. Well, not unless I wear it like this. This will be round the back of my head, so I won't see it. So I don't want it to be overpoweringly green. So I might do one more repeat and then fade in the next colour, and then I can do, I don't know, maybe a wee pair of scrappy socks to go along with it. That would be cute actually, wouldn't it? So that is my brioche What the Fade shawl. This is going to be my 2026 project. So it will finish at the end of the year. But I love that. I love that I'm using the yarn as it comes in. So we're due the February club in a couple of days. So I'm excited for that. And the other exciting thing was that I convinced all the knitters in my little yarn group to order the club as well. So we're all doing the similar thing where we have picked different shawls, I think for the most part. I think some of them mightn't have settled on one yet, but we've all picked different shawls and we're going to knit up same colour sequence but all different shawls. So it'll be really nice to see. And I'll try and talk them into coming on and showing everybody all our different shawls at the end of the year. I think that would be really sweet. So delighted with myself and my plan for using this yarn. So that is my last project, and one that I'll be working on all year, which is nice. Feels manageable. So that is the Almanac Club. Okay, that's all my knitting. It's quite a lot of knitting. I have some yarn. None of it purchased apart from the clubs. What have I got in here? So these, let me just have a read. Oh, there's the January inspo colour for the Almanac Club. That's cute. Let me see what I have. Oh yeah. So I have a couple from our yarn swap. This I didn't remember. Oh, is that from my Almanac too? Oh cute. This is probably, what is this from? My Almanac Club? It's a little stitch marker. Oh cute, cute, cute. That's so cute. Oh, I meant to show you my mug. my friend for Christmas got me like a hand glazed, hand fired ceramic mug that says "fuck off, I'm knitting." And I love it. So yes, I have in here the tail end of last year's season spell yarn club from Botanical Yarns? No, from Beehive Yarns. And I think she actually has a few different months on her website at the minute. They're kind of leftovers that she has. So just to show you, November, beautiful kind of dark mauves, and December. So I have the full set. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. I did initially say, oh yeah, I'll do a blanket. I am not doing another fingering weight blanket. I'm not doing it. That's what I forgot to tell you about. I also finished my friend's baby blanket. My friend had a baby, a little baby boy called Tyler, and so he has a big sister as well. I made her little baby blanket out of crochet, and I made Tyler a little just a little garter stitch baby blanket with little like blocks of colour. So it's really cute. I don't think I took a picture of it. I don't think I took a picture of that. Anyway, that was a big FO as well in this time period, but I forgot about it. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know. I'm going to pull it all together and see. It's probably going to be another shawl, but it's going to live in my stash for a little while, just till I get some of these shawls off the needles. I think 2 shawls is plenty. One is like my annual shawl. So I have an active shawl, which is the Go Dynamo. I also have the fragmentation that does need finished, but it's kind of boring at the minute. I'm not really interested in it. So plus it's all really dark colours. I'm into like my brights now. So I'm just not feeling it at the moment. But anyway, those are my... Oh, did you hear the pups? Okay, I'm back. 2 of my sisters called at the door, so I had to go with them. I did a little errand. I got my little Kaweke pen lid replaced at the local little stationery shop. It's called Hunter Paper Co. If you're in Belfast or near, it's beautiful. I had a couple more things to show you, and then that's me wrapping up. So we went to our yarn retreat and we did a little yarn swap. So I gave away quite a few beautiful skeins, including Chloe's yarn stash. Now I got to go and pick through Chloe's yarn stash first. Chloe's hung up her knitting needles for now, and she was decluttering, and so she passed on quite a few of her yarn stash. She passed through almost all of it to me. I picked a couple of bits that I wanted to keep and then let the ladies choose some beautiful skeins. So that was good for me and my stash. I came home with a couple. I think I brought maybe 30 skeins roundabout, so I got rid of quite a bit. Came home with a couple. I don't know what this is, but my friend's Catherine has already knit up a pair of socks, so this is the leftover of it, and it's so beautiful. I needed it immediately, and I just paired it with this little mini as well that was there. So I've got myself a little sock set. I lifted this mini randomly. I think this might have been one that I brought and nobody had wanted, so I just brought it back home. And then this, I know my friend Roisin has very similar taste in yarn to me, and so these two are definitely from her stash, and I think most of my stash ended up in hers. This is a Birdstreet DK Christmas at Barbie's on DK Sparkle. I think the only reason she got rid of this is that she had it on fingering knit too. So it's a 75-25 with the stellina in it. So I might put this away for Christmas for some socks. But to be honest, it's not too Christmassy. Like I could knit some sort of like, it's giving like sea, like mermaid type vibes as well. So I could knit it in like July maybe. And then another one from Roisin's stash is this Flower Bomb Simple Pleasures Yarn Club, which I think I probably got Yeah, I did. So I got the 2 skeins version, the 250-gram skeins. This is a full skein version she got. And I took these 2. Maybe this goes with it. No. So that's everything. That's all the yarn acquisitions for this year so far, which is pretty good. I did go to, when we went to Fermanagh on our little knitting retreat, we went to, there's a little yarn shop called, I pronounced it Ewe Mamma because it's spelled like the sheep, E-W-E. Turns out people in Fermanagh pronounce that yo, not you. So Ewe Mamma makes sense in that context. Went to Ewe Mamma for a little mosey around her yarns. And then there's also a little record shop. The puppies are incoming. There's a little record shop near there too, and I picked up a little pin that I thought was very cute. Is it focusing? It says the reader. Hi puppies! And now you get to see the puppies. Hi baby. This is Margot. She's a big girl now. They are 6 months next week. Maisie, can you not come? Hang on, I'll go get Maisie. Hang on, come here, Maisie. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hi, Maisie. I'll lift you up properly. There. There's my 2 puppies. Oh, 2 good girls. So they're getting big. Yes. And they are a handful. I think they're sleepy. I think it's time for a wee snooze. Is it? Oh, they're so cute. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, my hands are full with these 2. There you go. Say, no light. No, not in the yarn. Nothing is safe in this house. They don't realise that we don't eat yarn in this house. We don't eat knitting. Did you hear that little cheeky growl? Anyway, on that note, that's all my yarny catch-ups for you. Hopefully I'll come back at the start of April to fill you in on what I've been up to. Hopefully there'll be a few more finished objects. Maisie, don't eat the yarn. I'm on. Have a good month. See you then. Happy knitting.